Hey folks, welcome to day 2 of 7 breakthroughs that changed my life. I'm so excited to have you on this journey with me. I hope it's enriching you. And today I have something that is another one of those breakthroughs. It just totally revolutionized my life. I can't wait to share it. And here's what it is. It is the day that I learned that I have to focus on my outcome. The day that I learned that my outcome is more important than anything else. If you don't get focused on where you want to go, if you don't get focused on your outcome, you're never going to get there. That was a major breakthrough for me. And you know, what I discovered is, for me, up until that point in my life, I had been living other people's outcomes. I let other people say, this is where we want to go, this is what we want to do. And I had never taken the time to even ask what I wanted out of my life. I'd never taken the time to ask where I was trying to go with my own career or with my own life or any of that stuff. And instead, I just kind of was following the river, if you will. I was just letting life happen to me. And I remember there was a time, it was about 2008. It was about, from the time I'm shooting this video, it's about 11 years ago. And I remember where kind of everything in my world had fallen apart. And I realized I no longer had any control of any of that. I had played by the rules. I'd done everything I was supposed to do. None of it was working. None of it was working. And I remember I was talking to a friend and he said, well, what do you want? And I was like, I don't know. I really didn't have any idea what I wanted. And at that time I was a professional musician and I was living that journey, which was an exciting journey, but it wasn't fulfilling to me and it wasn't making me happy. And so I kind of sat down and I said, well, if I could go anywhere, if I could do anything, what would I do? I started making some notes, and as I started to think about it, I got really clear on where I wanted to go. And from that day forward, my life has never been the same, because I made an intentional decision to define my outcome and then run towards it. And then as I started to build businesses, and as I started to, grow up and mature and got into my 30s and, became more of the person that most of you know me as today, what I discovered is every project has to have an outcome. Everything has to have an outcome. That doesn't mean you have to be super structured. That's not me at all. I'm not super structured, but I do like to be very intentional. And so, sometimes I'll just say, hey, I'm going to Home Depot, but what is it I'm going to Home Depot to get? What is it I'm going to do? If you're not intentional about it, what you'll find is you're just wandering all over the place. This happens in business all the time. Just a couple of days ago, I was on a group call where we were working with a few new business owners, and there was 2 in particular, and they're wonderful people. They have the right heart, they have the right desire, they have the right drive, but they have absolutely no clarification on where they were trying to go. And so this entire coaching call turned into myself and another guy who was helping do the coaching. And we were working with these 2 people to say, well, what is it that you want? You've got to get clear on what it is that you want, because until you define what you want, and you can't say, oh, I want to build a business. That's nebulous. That doesn't mean anything, because anybody can build a business. It could be a plumbing business that you just show up and fix some toilets here and there, or it could be a multi-billion-dollar enterprise. What is your business? You've got to get clear on what it is that you want. And it flows through everything in our life, from relationships to business to everything, literally everything. And so even when I was thinking about putting this whole series on 7 breakthroughs together, I had to ask the question, what is it that I want? And start getting intentional on what the outcome is. And so I want to challenge you, if you've been struggling, maybe you've been kind of wandering through life, maybe you've been unfocused, maybe you've been feeling like you want more out of life and you're not quite sure how to get it. That's exactly where I was at many years ago. I remember right after I got married, I wanted so much out of life, but I had no clue how to get it. And for me, that story was, hey, if only I had a mentor. If only I had a mentor, then I could really get something. And what I didn't realize at the time is I was the problem. I couldn't attract a mentor because I wasn't focused and I didn't know what I wanted. And so if you feel like that, if you feel like you're just kind of wandering around a little bit, if you feel like maybe you want more out of life, but you're not sure where you're going, I would challenge you to sit down and say, if I could have anything I want, without any boundaries, if I could have anything I want, what would it be? What would I want out of a relationship? What would I want out of my marriage? What would I want with my relationship with my kids? What would I want out of my career? What would I want out of my job? What would my finances look like? What would my income structure look like? Start getting very specific, because if you're not specific, then guess what? The rest of the world will make the plans for you. And that's the way I lived many years of my life. And I'm so grateful now that it's been more than a decade, almost 15 years, since I started making some of those major changes. And it's been a total breakthrough. It's been changes across the board. In fact, people who knew me 15 years ago, they look at me today and they're like, who are you? Where did you come from? And it was all because I started getting very intentional about where I wanted to go, what I wanted to do, what I wanted to experience from life. So that's my challenge for you today. Get very focused on your outcome and you're going to discover that your world will change. And when you get very focused on your outcome, you get very intentional about it, it will become a breakthrough. You'll look back at this moment and you'll say, man, my life is never going to be the same again because I learned how to get focused on the outcome.